Energy in Egypt describes energy and electricity production, consumption and import in Egypt. Energy policy of Egypt describes the energy policy in the politics of Egypt more in detail. Overview. Egypt's population has increased 14.3% in 5 years 2004 to 2009. Population growth is over 10 million in 5 years. Energy production was in 2009 36% more than in 2004. Crude oil. Egypt is an important non-OPEC energy producer. It has the 6th largest proved oil reserves in Africa. Over half of these reserves are offshore reserves. Although Egypt is not a member of OPEC, it is a member of the Organization of Arab Petroleum Exporting Countries. Commercial quantities of oil were first found in 1908, and more petroleum was found in the late 1930s along the Gulf of Suez. Later, large oil fields were discovered in the Sinai Peninsula, the Gulf of Suez, the Western Desert, and the Eastern Desert. The Abu Rudais and Ras Sudr oil fields in the Sinai, captured by Israel in 1967, were returned to Egyptian control in November 1975, and the remaining Sinai oil fields reverted to Egyptian control by the end of April 1982. As of 2005 update, Egypt's proven oil reserves were estimated at 3.7 billion barrels. Of which 2.9 billion barrels was crude oil and 0.8 billion barrels were natural gas liquids. Oil production in 2005 was 696,000 barrels per day in 1996, of which crude oil accounted for 554,000 barrels per day. Approximately 50% of Egypt's oil production comes from the Gulf of Suez, with the Western Desert, Eastern Desert, and the Sinai Peninsula as country's 3 other primary producing areas. Domestic consumption was estimated at 564,000 barrels per day in 2004. Net oil exports in that same year were estimated at 134,000 barrels per day. The Suez Canal and the 322-kilometer assumed pipeline from the Gulf of Suez to the Mediterranean Sea are 2 routes for oil from the Persian Gulf, which makes Egypt a strategic point of interest in world energy markets. Although the Suez Canal Authority has deepened the canal so that it can accommodate the largest bulk freight carriers, the canal was deepened a further 20 meters in 2006 to accommodate very large crude carriers. As of 2005 update, Egypt operates 9 refineries that are capable of processing crude oil at an estimated rate of 726,250 barrels per day. The largest refinery is the Al Nasser facility located at Suez. It is able to process 146,300 barrels per day. The national oil company is the Egyptian General Petroleum Corporation. Consumption of crude oil has exceeded production in recent years. Natural gas. Major discoveries in the 1990s have given natural gas increasing importance as an energy source. As of 2005 update, the country's reserves of natural gas are estimated at 66 trillion cubic feet, which are the 3rd largest in Africa. Probable reserves have been placed at more than 120 trillion cubic feet. Domestic consumption of natural gas has also risen as a result of thermal power plants converting from oil to natural gas. Egypt's production of natural gas was estimated at 2,000 billion cubic feet in 2013, of which almost 1,900 billion cubic feet was domestically consumed. Natural gas is exported by the Arab Gas Pipeline to the Middle East and in the future potentially to Europe. When completed, it will have a total length of 1,200 kilometers. Natural gas is exported also as the liquefied natural gas. LNG is produced at LNG plants of Egyptian LNG and SEGAS LNG companies. BG and Eni, the Italian oil and gas company, together with Gas Natural Fenosa of Spain, built major liquefied natural gas facilities in Egypt for the export market. but the plants have been largely idled as domestic gas consumption has soared. In March 2015, BP signed a $12 billion deal to develop natural gas in Egypt intended for sale in the domestic market starting in 2017. BP said it would develop a large quantity of offshore gas, equivalent to about 1/4 of Egypt's output, and bring it onshore to be consumed by customers. Gas from the project, called West Nile Delta, is expected to begin flowing in 2017. BP said that additional exploration might lead to a doubling of the amount of gas available. In September 2015, Italian energy company Eni SpA announced the discovery of the largest gas field in the Mediterranean, the Zohr gas field. The total gas in place of the Zohr gas field is estimated around 30 trillion cubic feet. Shale oil. The Safaga-Queer area of the Eastern Desert is estimated to have reserves equivalent to about 4.5 million barrels of in-place shale oil, and the Abu Tartor area of the Western Desert is estimated to have about 1.2 million barrels of in-place shale oil. The 1,000 to 2,000 foot thick and organically rich, total organic content of about 4%. Katatbar Formation in the Western Desert is the source rock for wells there and is a potential source for shale oil and shale gas. Apache Corporation, using substantial assets acquired in 2010 from BP after the Deepwater Horizon disaster, is the major operator in the Western Desert, often in joint ventures with Egyptian General Petroleum Corporation, such as Calder Petroleum Company and Caron Petroleum Company. In 1996, Apache merged with Phoenix Resources, which had made the Caron discovery in 1994, and took over operations of the Caron concession in Egypt. Apache has developed about 18% of the 10 million acres it controls. In 2012, running a score of rigs, drilling about 200 development and injection wells, and about 50 exploration wells with a success rate of about 55%. Plans for 2013 included an investment of about $1 billion in development and exploration. On August 29, 2013, Apache announced sale of a one-third share of its Egyptian assets to Sinopec for $3.1 billion effective January 1, 2014. Apache would continue to be the operator. Oil shale. Oil shale resources were discovered in the Safaga-Queer area of the Eastern Desert in the 1940s. The oil shale in the Red Sea area could be extracted by underground mining. In the Abu Tartor, oil shale could be mined as byproduct whilst mining for phosphonates. Oil shale in Egypt is foreseen as a potential fuel for the power generation. Electrical power. The Egyptian electric power system is almost entirely integrated, with thermal stations in Cairo and Alexandria and generators at Aswan. In 2006, electricity output was 115 terawatt-hours, of which 72% was from gas, 16% from oil and 11% from hydro. In 2002, consumption of electricity totaled 75.719 terawatt-hours. As of 2006 update, total installed capacity was estimated at 18 gigawatts. A $239 million electricity network link with Jordan was completed in 1998. In late 2002, Egypt announced that it would coordinate a regional energy distribution center to coordinate energy distribution among the nations of the region, including Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. Egypt is considering the use of nuclear energy. In 1964, a 150 MWe and in 1974 a 600 MWe nuclear power stations were proposed. The Nuclear Power Plants Authority was established in 1976, and in 1983 the El Dabaa site on the Mediterranean coast was selected. Egypt's nuclear plans were frozen after the Chernobyl accident. In 2006, Egypt announced it will revive its civilian nuclear power program, and to build a 1,000 megawatts nuclear power station at El Dabaa. It's estimated to cost $1.5 billion, and it will be constructed in participation of foreign investors. In March 2008, Egypt signed with Russia an agreement on the peaceful uses of nuclear energy. Egypt has a high solar availability. The total capacity of installed photovoltaic systems is about 4.5 MWp. They are used in remote areas for water pumping, desalination, rural clinics, telecommunications, rural village electrification, etc. The proposed large-scale solar power project Desertec involves also Egypt. Egypt has also a high potential for wind energy, especially in the Red Sea coast area. As of 2006 update, 230 megawatts of wind energy was installed, with additional 320 megawatts to be installed by 2009.